What if I told you that the system powering the world's fastest supercomputers, running the backbone of the internet, and supporting global cloud infrastructure, and even being used in space technology isn't Windows or MacOS, but Linux? It sounds surprising at first, because most people have never seriously used Linux on their personal computers, yet it has quietly become essential. For decades, Windows dominated personal computing because it came pre-installed on almost every laptop and desktop, creating a default billions accepted without question. That default pipeline is what gave Microsoft its long-standing dominance. But now, for the first time in years, that dominance is starting to show cracks. Users are noticing downsides, forced updates interrupting work, and increasing system requirements making older hardware feel obsolete. There is a growing sense that users are losing control over their own machines, especially when perfectly working PCs are suddenly considered outdated. This frustration is quietly driving users to look for alternatives, which is where Linux starts to enter the conversation again. Linux is no longer just a complicated system for developers. It is fast, lightweight, and increasingly user-friendly. When people install distributions like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or Fedora, they often notice immediate improvements, faster boot times, and smoother performance. You get lower RAM usage, fewer background processes, and a system focused on work rather than running unnecessary services in the background. For many, it's the difference between replacing a device and continuing to use it comfortably for years, which is crucial in many global regions. Businesses and manufacturers are also paying attention. From a financial perspective, Windows licensing and support costs add pressure on thin profit margins. Linux offers a different model that removes these limitations, giving companies more flexibility and control while reducing long-term expenses. Manufacturers are beginning to expand Linux-based systems in their product lines as a practical business decision driven by efficiency and cost optimization. Another factor is how we use computers today. Most daily tasks now happen inside a web browser, emails, documents, and collaboration tools. The operating system itself has become less important than the ability to run a fast and stable browser, and Linux excels here. Even gaming, once a major weakness, is improving rapidly thanks to new compatibility tools, allowing many popular games to run smoothly. While it may not yet replace Windows for every hardcore gamer, it is already more than sufficient for a large portion of users. The developer community, the people who build software and shape the future of technology, have been using Linux for years. Their influence is significant. They create tools and recommend systems based on experience, making the Linux ecosystem more accessible. Governments and institutions are also exploring Linux to gain more control, improve security, and reduce dependence on a single company's ecosystem. Interest in Linux is no longer limited to small communities. It is becoming part of broader global strategic thinking. Windows is still the dominant operating system today with a massive user base, but market share alone doesn't tell the full story. What we're seeing is a gradual change in mindset, where more people are becoming aware of alternatives and willing to experiment. Linux doesn't need to replace Windows overnight. It just needs to continue proving it can meet the needs of everyday users. It has already reached a point where, for many, it is a primary choice, offering performance, freedom, and efficiency that is difficult to ignore. As this awareness spreads through word of mouth and real user experiences, the momentum continues to build, slowly changing the landscape. People are no longer blindly accepting what comes pre-installed. They are making conscious decisions about the technology they use. That quiet shift in user behavior has the potential to reshape the future of computing in ways more powerful than any single trend. Because when users start choosing instead of just accepting, everything changes.